Is that Adidas?
I don't know. It's Goodwill, Salvation Army.
It
One
sounds
of
like we have the same habits.
yeah, I'm a well dressed man on there. Come on.
Oh, I know, I know. That's the move, man. I think thrifting clothes is where it's at, you know.
Hey, you're not lying. I mean, when they have things like the vintage, as they call them, things in there, sometimes find some pretty wild shit. Yeah.
I've purchased all three leather jackets of mine at thrift
Yeah.
stores, and they're
For like
awesome.
$10, $20.
Yeah, this was like 15, and I love it. It's from like 85, I think.
Dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the move, man. Well, Bobby, it's been a minute since we've talked. You've been busy. Last
Like
time we talked, we were talking about the new record, and there were so many things I wanted to dive into, but it was under lock and key. You couldn't, you were under the label. You can't let
yeah.
anything out. Now everything's on the table. We can talk about the record. Something I do want to do is go down the record track by track and talk about each song and do
Okay.
like a whole thing on that. But
Good.
before we
Good.
start, man, well, I, you've you've been in the news lately,
Kind
and
of.
and I've been laughing with friends sending me that. I'm like, yeah, man, that's Bobby, and they're like, who? And it's so funny that this meme has snowballed into something so massive. What was your reaction to going viral on
Uh,
TikTok?
Initially, I thought it was someone pulling my leg. It was like, come on, man, because I've told a couple other podcasts this, that I always had this dream that maybe someday, it's like back in my movie when I say he has this delusion that he'll be in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's one of these things I've had on the bucket list of hope to be a viral item, right? And it's like, but of course, this will never happen. So, whatever, and no problem. And I thought it was somebody pulling my leg. And they said, no, I'll give you this link and I want you to check it out. I said, all right, why not? So they linked me to X, which was formerly Twitter. And I don't have that app at all. I never use that application, but it took me right over there and opened up. And I saw the thing of the Ghoul on there, and I'm saying, "Oh yeah, that's what I do every night, most of the time." I mean, it just makes me feel that way, and blah blah, And they've noted now, he's been doing the same thing 42 years with that song, but it said 3.2 M on the views. It was like, what? It's that stands for million, right? Not K. And I looked, and then an hour later it said 5M. Like, holy shit, man, this is a trip.
And
And
that's just one video.
yeah, I kept going back and forth to that site all day and night. Going, I rack them up, rack them up.
You've really, it's funny to say because you've really caught lightning in a bottle here.
You're not lying, buddy.
Like it's so wild. You've hit the mainstream. You've officially done it. Everyone, every single person I know I've talked to who are not even into metal, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's I know that guy.
It is real weird. It was like my health carrier provider. Last week I had a televisit, right, with a nursing assistant or something to say. And I'm talking for a minute, and he stops, got 3, 4 questions in. And he goes, "Wait a minute, I knew it was somewhere." He goes, "You're that guy."
You're that wizard from TikTok.
Trip, man. It's like on the airports. I had this real serious faced TSA guy with his gun and all this stuff on, badge, uniform, come up to me. Came up and said, "Are you Robert Liebling?" And I said, "Yes," very seriously. "You can I have your autograph?" It just flips me out, man.
It's the timing is so perfect. It's like the
Yeah.
stars have aligned for you and
Wow.
Pentagram. It's
Could not have come
so
at a more opportune time. I mean, no, it's just like the stars were lined up for some reason in favor for one time.
yeah. After this 10-year, gap between records and you're back, talk about, coming back with a comeback.
Yeah,
Like just absolutely awesome.
it's
Now,
unbelievable. Yeah.
yeah, do you know of that world at all? TikToks and Instagram Reels?
Instagram Reels I watch some of, and some of them very much amuse me, and I do get kind of caught up. Once I start watching, I keep leaving them on the one after another. But uh, TikTok, I've never been into TikTok at all. I always thought of TikTok as, well, that's way too white bread wholesome for me. And I'm sorry to use that term, but uh, I just no, I feed into TikTok. It was like this is for very young people overall. I thought, and so forth, and I never knew the spread of diversity that it uses at all. Because I come to find out they have a heavy metal division part of TikTok. They have
There's
about
every part. Yeah.
yeah, and they're categorized that you can go to like for specialty, interests. I didn't know that part at all, and you know, bless them
Yeah. But
for
you've
what it's
gone
worth.
beyond that. You're not even in the metal genre. You're in the everything genre. They're putting that format into into scenarios, into jokes, into
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, I found myself on Reddit and all these platforms I never could imagine. Yeah,
It's
pretty.
so funny because you just did what every band starting up dreams of. Labels now are telling bands you have to go viral. You have to do
Well,
memes,
I dreamt
you
of it, but
know?
it was kind of a long dream.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
woke up
Only
and it
took
was
50 years.
1971, and it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep grinding. Like you gotta just the grind never stops, and this it hit. It finally hit.
It is a grind too, though. It's not easy with the keeping up. I mean, it's hey, I'm a tired old horse, man. I've been doing this a long, long time.
I'd say you have some more rides in you though.
Uh, hopefully so. Hopefully so. I wouldn't trade my life like I've told people for anything, and I love doing what I do, and and so forth. It's part of the fun of life to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and people I don't think realize that your stare has been around since like the beginning, that iconic, staring at the audience. Where does that originate from?
Well, we used to want to scare them, and it used to be deliberate in the very beginning. It was very, and now it just kind of happens because it's time to do this. It's not really, it kind of just comes now. And
Yeah.
certain songs, right, the Ghoul's like a creepy song, and always was, and that was kind of one where hey, I'm dead, I'm dead, and I'm up here, and I'm going to tell you the story. So
Yeah, have you blinked since 1973?
times maybe, yeah, I used to practice that in the mirror, and
Oh,
I
really?
religiously don't blink. Do not let yourself blink. Now, uh, they say, well, you can't do it, but so it's humanly blah 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 blah. Wrong. I have I've come to the point where I out outdid 3 minutes, and if you try to do this yourself and go in the mirror, after about 20 seconds, your eyes are almost dripping. You will notice I've got the blink. This is screwed up. I can't do this anymore. And I used to sit there until it was like they drip, and I keep them open and keep them. Now it's ad infinitum. The time it's just
Have you thought about doing staring contests competitively?
no, but I
Because
think
that,
they have those, don't they?
yeah,
Probably. They've got everything else on the planet.
they'd see you walking and quit.
Hey, what the hell? It's good to be a champion at something, right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
champion of
I tell
TikTok
people.
right now.
Yeah, I tell people though. I say, well, at least I am famous for being a joke.
Well, it's not just a joke. It's your streaming numbers are 4 times what they were. And the
Yeah,
Ghoul is now
yep,
the top streams. Like it's crazy to see the monthly
yeah.
listeners. It's not just like ha ha ha, move on. It's this is like help the band at such
Yes,
an
it really
amazing
has.
scale.
Yeah, it rose the profile up, 10 rungs, and that's something that I'm really, really happy inside about. I mean, we have so many new listeners. The Spotify thing was like a month ago, it was around 80 something thousand a month. Now it's like over 400. It's
It's
like, wow.
450, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really staggering, man. I can't believe this stuff.
How's the
And
band reacting to this?
they're just enjoying the ride. We're
Yeah.
in it for the for the moment. I mean, that usually, as you probably know, stuff that's viral is just a flash in the pan, and that's why it's happened like that. It's just something that comes out of nowhere like a ghost and leaves quickly too. And there's no telling how long it's going to be, prominently thought about, even, let alone be there. So it's just like having fun for what it's worth, and getting stopped right, left, and sideways in strange places in strange instances by people of all ilks, and all walks of life. I mean, we've gotten stopped by groups of little kids on a field trip. We've gotten stopped by soccer moms group in airports and stuff. I mean, the restaurants, the owners all come up, oh, the wheels on the house now. Which is not something we expected. So, to say the least, it's fun. And and like I said to one person on Facebook, on a post, I said, I really appreciate the hell out of everything, uh, of the recognition and the public profile that it's risen out, and all that, and made. But I hope that it will also uh, lend to our musical uh, endeavors being a lot more recognized in the future, and even sought out and enjoyed by people, because that's why we were in it in the first place, obviously. And that's the bottom line, really, you know.
Yeah, I think it has, man, because I've ridden your coattails a little bit, putting out more TikToks about you from like past podcasts.
Right.
And they've blown up. I had one get
I
not
know.
not to
Yeah.
not to your numbers, but like 80K, which is still a lot. And most of the comments are like, "How have not discovered this band already? How do I not know this band's music?" Because
Right.
Sabbath has so many fans, and I can't imagine a Black Sabbath fan not liking you guys. So all these people are being like, "Oh my God, how have I never heard of Pentagram?" And now they're coming to you. So it's more than just, yeah, it was fun and viral, but now it's over. I
Yeah.
think there's so many fans that are here to stay. I really do.
I really pray and hope so. And it appears right now that way, because the audiences at the gigs, like when we just got back from South America, all those gigs were now, I mean, our audience was averaging, like, a much younger than it ever was, like 18 to 35 on the average, probably about 30, 35. Now, there's a lot of people that are like 18 to 21 years old, an overwhelming amount of them. And many, many of them, I never heard of you before, but now I got turned on to this, and it brought my curiosity, to so forth and so on. And I bought a ticket, or I went on line and listened to the albums, and they really have gotten into us, man. And that makes me feel like, hey, fulfilling a little bit of the dream you have, when you start up. Gee, I want everybody on the ball to hear us, and I want them all to like us too. And
I think this dream has been realized. Like this, I think it's so incredible. And the Ghoul has blown up. It is the top
wow,
stream song. This song was
who would have
originally an
dreamt?
instrumental. Yeah, I know, a song from, and this song was supposed to be an instrumental originally, right? Is that true?
Uh, it was an instrumental when it was written, and the music was written by Joe Hasselmander, and with a little addition of Victor Griffin from the Death Row era was when it was written. And Joe I remember when they first played it because there were no lyrics or anything like that, and no idea of the whole thing except for the fact that they played an instrumental and Joe said, "Yeah, it's called the Ghoul." And I'm saying to myself, "How do you call it? What is it called the Ghoul for? It's there's no words, right?" And I said, "Okay, we'll see. You want me to go ahead? I'll write about a ghoul." And I wrote the lyrics, and rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. And now the whole world knows the song.
What a
Now
sicky song, a sicko song though, to be the one that becomes rise.
it's no Taylor Swift's song lyrically for sure. It is funny that it went viral.
Yeah, it's not the family oriented nature
Yeah.
of song,
Yeah, yeah.
but it became that, and all in good company and stuff. That's neat.
Now it's so funny, man, because I've seen comments where people are like, "Damn, man," like they're looking at you and they're being like, "I've been stoned, but I've never been that stoned," you know.
I know all the weird stuff. I wonder how
Are,
much crack he smoked.
are you straight edge?
Yeah, no, I'm not straight edge. I mean, I'm human being, and I try to keep my shit totally together now. Occasional, I'll have a fall, and when or if that happens, get back up on the bike immediately. Though, don't gotta watch that shit, man. I've been through all those slippery people, places, and things for a lot of years. I'm not going back, baby. So yeah, you could call me uh, very overwhelmingly, for the most part, sober and
Yeah.
very lucid and in touch, in tune. And I'm not about the type of situation or culture feed into that I was. I still fascinates me because I love psychology and what makes people tick. And addiction is something that's very prominent these days, especially in life. And I like knowing as much as I can about it. You know.
And especially in your past too. And it's
Yes.
such an amazing story of your recovery, and having something now and again, as long as you're back up, it's all good. Are you just smoking tobacco or is there weed in the picture at all?
No, I can't smoke weed. No, I have my
No?
COPD is so bad that these are killing me really quickly. I have a chronic cough now that's persisted like for 6 months or more, and now it's pretty damn bad. I should be on oxygen for all intents and purposes. I don't want to carry around the Imogen or whatever you might be able to get hold of. It's just not me. But it kind of does help to breathe a little bit. It's kind of a healthy thing that we do.
Well, it is now. And then you have the gummies you can take, you know?
Yeah, I just I don't like ingesting helpers. I'll call
Yeah.
them of any. I don't like taking a cold pill. I don't like taking a Tylenol. I don't. My mother became like that the last 10 years of her life. Obviously, partially from aversion therapy. I'm sure. Like look what all this taking all this crap did to my son. And my dad never liked taking things either, but now I'm like that, man. You do turn into your parents. That's for goddamn sure. It's like, nope, no, thank you. People tell me, if you really have this cough, my drummer's always tell me because he takes a lot of supplemental vitamin things and gets vitamin shots occasionally. I said, I don't want them. Then he said, well, really, you know yourself best. And it's just like people who have been addicts for long term, like myself. They say that tests have shown that we have a much higher immune system and can fight things off much easier than the typical norm can. It's because you put so much crap into you, your body becomes the crap.
Yeah.
I guess that's the principle. I'm sure.
I
But
yeah, I read something somewhere where Ozzy's immune to the common cold,
right. Oh
where
God,
it's,
that
you
would be
know,
my one wish. The common cold every time we come back from tour, and it happened last time, uh, and this time. How miserable can a human being be after you're around all the shaking hands and all the pictures and the airplanes constantly, and then you come back within 24 hours? All four of us had the flu. all
Oh,
sorts of coughing up shit like crazy, green, yellow, brown, you name it, rainbow. And it's gross, man. You know,
yeah.
I don't enjoy blowing a cup of coffee's worth of snot out of my nose every 20 minutes.
Yeah, you
Not
started the
pleasant.
next pandemic.
God knows. Yeah. Yeah. But maybe it'll raise my immunity once again. Who knows? Might
Yeah.
kill me. What doesn't kill you, right? Like Blue Cheer's last album. So,
Yeah, yeah, which is a great
great
record.
title. Mm-hmm.
Great title too, man. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people for immune, they take they're like mushrooms, like lion's mane. It's not psychedelic, but it helps. But also
Mm-hmm.
people microdose as well. Um,
I know. And it's like, what? I'm back in the 60s, somebody just said that, the FBI would be looking into you.
yeah, but it's not to see mountain anymore. It's to go to your 9 to 5, you know?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's the irony of the whole thing. It's all
Yeah,
come
yeah.
full cycle. It's really fucking weird, man. It's like my big drug of choice now. This is no bullshit. It's melatonin, one at night, 5 milligrams. That's it. It's natural and it knocks me out as long as you go to sleep within a half hour of taking it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, it's nullified. It's so weird, man. But, hey, works for me. Works great. That's what I take.
If it works, it works. I know for like people recovering, it's hard to fall asleep at night sometimes.
Mhm.
Like Z-Quil has been something like personally I take sometimes
Yeah,
because
whatever supplement works, though. Hey, whatever works. That's how I am. I can't be one to judge, for Christ's sake. Give me a break. It's like, oh, you do that. Who am I to talk, man? There's nothing I haven't ingested, but 9-inch nails, maybe. You know, and so yeah, I'm still here. By the grace of the powers, whoever they may be,
yeah, but you bounce
whoever your
back.
choice is to call them.
Yeah, yeah, and your story's amazing, man. Like Last Days Here, it's so amazing, and I'm so happy for people discovering your story. And I was thinking about this the other day. Have you thought about re-releasing that documentary now that you have like 5 times the amount of fans now?
That was one of the key questions I was asked just the other day by
Oh,
someone
was
on the
it?
podcast. Yeah, and I don't know if they'll re-release it or what. It's not found as commonly or easily as it once was on all the bigger stations and so, but it's still on YouTube for free. They took it off for a while and now it's back on full length of it, so you can watch it. And what the hell? It's lent itself to, from what I get told, on a regular basis, to helping cure or put in check or whatever the term proper is.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten a new awakening from it, and that makes me happy too. I like making people happy, man. You know,
Well, you're doing a great job at it. And I
hey,
think if
the other
anything,
way is a
now's
lose lose, right? This is a win win.
exactly, exactly. And I feel like if anything, this is the time to do a part two. Because look at how this is like the inverse
It
now.
is. I always wish they would have done what was going to happen the next 10 years after the movie, because that's when the band really took off on a large professional scale and internationally and started touring all over the world and all that. And I always wanted there to be an actual biography, not autobiography, but everybody dreams of that kind of shit, and I don't need my 15 minutes, but I'd sure like to see a big actor and actress and say, all up there playing the part. That would be great, but who knows? You never know, man. They were going to do it once upon a time. Kim Coates was playing me from Sons of Anarchy, and that never got off the ground.
Seriously, what year was that in
That was
talks?
2016.
2016. Well, hey,
Yeah,
I
Kim came to
say,
see us twice in LA and talked to us, and I saw a picture of him in Bobby makeup backstage, and it was tripped out, man. It was like it was me all. I mean, there was not a blemish out of place. He had all the crow's feet and the whole thing.
well, I say we throw a mustache on Timothy Chalamet and go for part two.
That another one. Even though he's real big and tall, if you put a mustache on Adrian Brody, it's really weird. He looks like me. You're similar. There's
I'd
certain
love to see it.
actors. Hey, if you got a big nose and a long thin face, You can look like Bobby. What the hell? You just got to lose a little more hair per year.
I've had people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I think your dad just went viral." Like, what? And
Anybody with a mustache and a larger sized proboscis, gets tagged now with the long curly hair. Hey, I have people all the time. They message me and they send me pictures, just pictures of themselves. Says, don't I look like you? And I'm thinking, no, but I understand. You have a mustache, you have a thin face, you got long hair.
yeah, this fashion is in now because of you. So thank you. I went up from a 6 to a 7 now.
Hey, it's it's better than being the Smith Brothers cough drops with an 8 foot
Yeah.
8 foot beard and not one hair on your head.
Yeah. So I
I don't
this
judge. I
this
don't
this
judge.
me neither, man. And this lightning in a bottle tour, I've heard has been excellent. And you guys have, I'm so excited for this East Coast tour, because I'll get to see you guys. This is will be my first time seeing Pentagram because
Really?
every time you guys have come around, I was unable to. I was either
What
out of
city are you going to
state
see us in?
in you guys playing Cambridge, right?
I believe so.
Massachusetts.
I believe so. Again, yeah, yeah.
We'll talk in the DMs about because I'd love to say hi, because
Oh
we've
yeah, of
talked.
course. I'll put you on the list and stuff. I mean, I'd love to have you come. As a the band live, we're really getting off on it. Really kicking some ass. We're super into it. The guys that I play with are fantastic. They're really with me as well as behind me in spirit and in they surpass me by far with their talents. Tony Reed is a beast on guitar and a hell of a showman, and as well as a great engineer. He produced and mixed the album and mastered it himself. And Tony plays guitar, bass, drums, does lead vocals, and has recorded many albums, doing that. And the guy has got talent out the yin yang. I mean, and Scooter is fantastic bass player. They've just, I can't say enough about all three of those guys, man. They have brought me a new breath of life for sure. We
And
get
they're
off
coming from great backgrounds too, like extremely talented musicians.
very, very much in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Last time we talked, I'm like, hey man, you should come back to the East Coast. And you're like, we were just there, there's other places we need to hit. So this new announcement, was it like in a reaction to going viral? Now it's like, well, I guess everything's on the table again now. Or is it like, you
um,
know what? I miss the area.
It is partially like that. I mean, we've got to recover all the places because we have a new album, though, and because it's a new lineup. Then there's that justifies going every place again, even if you've been there 10 times. I mean, some things do get old and they want fresh, and it's fresh. Whether it's I don't mean that it gets boring, but it gets old to where it becomes a regular. Well, we'll catch them next time thing, and now it's something fresh. So I'm glad about that.
Yeah, and that's really awesome as a fan to get to see you guys. And there's a few people I'll be bringing with me, and they can't wait to see you. So, looking forward to it. Now, let's get into the record here. Last time we talked, I really wanted to dive into it, but of course, it wasn't out yet. And
Right?
we have to keep things a secret for now. But now everything's out.
Yeah.
So, Lightning in a Bottle is an amazing record, one of the band's best. It's like a more evolved like a sub basement. That's kind of how I see it, where you have those really, really heavy and dark elements and then but there's also some focus and there's a lot of diversity in the songwriting and a lot of really cool parts, and it's not just like a very like dark album. There's a lot more to it. Now I want to go track by track and just hear your thoughts on each track. If there's anything about the making of it you can tell me, your thoughts on the song. So Live Again, the first song. What can you tell me about this track, and what made you want to have this be the opening song of the record?
Well, first of all, as far as the opening song, Tony picked that, and we all thought it would be a really great one to open with. Um, it comes on like a gangbusters, and it's the kick-ass the bounce beat and stuff. But um, "Live Again" was written by the lyrics, believe it or not, were written by Henry, and it sounds like Henry did this thing with he wrote the lyrics to 4 or 5 of the songs on the album, ones you would not expect, such as "Lady Heroin," even, and that surprises people because
Yeah.
yeah, he wanted to put himself in my shoes and try to present it, seeing it through my perspective, and "Live Again" was one of those also. Uh, he wanted to express that I'm back, full force and so forth, and we're back. And I mean, 10 years is a little wild to wait between records, Jesus. But they wrote that, and Henry put the words to it. I asked them, like I did with all the songs, if I could switch a few words here or there. But it's a great opening song, and then I think it expresses kind of the introductory to the new metamorphosis of the band, you know.
Yeah, and it's such a great way to open the record. I remember hearing it for the first time, and it just hits you in the face, and it's like, yeah, this is going to be an amazing, one of the best Pentagram records. Now, the Panic Room, I also love, and is another one that's great. What can you tell me about this track?
Panic Room was written by Henry and myself and Tony. All the almost all the songs were formerly written in scratch tracks, and then I, went to the studio. I had just a bunch of disorganized words, and I'd listen to the instrumental tracks one after another and pick and choose here and there. Hey, this one, I think I can do this one. And then I'd take a sheet or 2 sheets of lyrics into the recording booth and record, just try to apply the words, cold into the format and structure of the song. In the Panic Room was,
So it's kind of improvised almost.
yeah, it is to an extent. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were like the original nuances were also left in of all of them, uh, vis-a-vis the scratch tracks that were done. But originally, Tony played the bass on everything, just to lay them down in the studio, with and him playing guitars also. None of them had a word of vocals or any words applied or anything like that. And Henry had some sheets of lyrics like I did, and just kind of we we had a flow, man, that was to us capturing lightning in a bottle, man. We just hit it off. It was everything was lined up. We hit the good luck number. I don't know what really happened, but most of the songs on the album were done in 1 or 2 vocal takes, and I did all the singing in like 3.5 days of 4 or 5 hours a day, and it was done. Yeah.
That's so amazing to hear. This record is so strong and tight. There's no low points, and it's really cool to hear that and how there was a very traditional way of writing this record. You were even talking about in a video how, bands like Bang and other proto metal bands were big inspirations to this record.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
even lyrically,
yeah.
traditionally there'd be a lot of like improvisation where
Right.
it would just be someone doing the riff and it's like, I'm just gonna, kind of see what comes out. So it's
Yeah.
cool how traditional this record was written.
It really has a lot of 70s flavor, I think, and a lot of Pentagram nuance to it. It stays heavy and kick ass all the way through. Like Panic Room's got the quiet section throughout the middle part, which struck us ultra Captain Beyond,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it really has that flavor to it. And it also has a little Lord Baltimore, the the walk ups and stuff. The record kicks my ass. It's I'm happy as hell with it. It's my favorite Pentagram album. It was always Sub Basement up until this one, and this one I think kind of trumped it. You know,
a lot of bands and artists when they put out a record, they're like, yeah, this is my new favorite, but this truly is like,
Yeah,
damn,
I
like
always say that too. That everybody said to me, "Oh, of course you're going to say that. You say that every album." And yes, that's true. But then after you go and really deepen your perspective into what you've done and look back at it, it's like, man, we did a really able to be proud of venture when we did this record. I don't think there's any clunkers or anything half-assed or lacking on it. Yeah.
not at all. And I do hear a little bit of dust in some of the music as well, which is one of my favorite bands.
I hear a lot. I hear all, yeah. There's a lot of influences of all the really bands that I love, Henry loves, and Tony loves. We're all very knowledgeable about the same genre of late 60s through the early to mid 70s bands that didn't get their proper recognition in our eyes. And that kind of flavor has been added. It just naturally comes, because these are the things we would like to emulate. And I mean, and we've been around a long time too, as the name of a band, and the structure basically. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so awesome to hear. It's so awesome to hear that kind of music, but with like, a different guitar tone and like really good production.
Yeah, the
I,
production is excellent and clear, and it's recorded really cleanly and well. I'm really happy with that too.
and speaking of, yeah, let's before I almost jumped a song. I Spoke to Death is one of my favorites lyrically. I love the lyrics on this. So dark and just great. And your delivery is awesome too. What can you tell me about this track?
uh, I Spoke to Death was originally one side of a split single that was issued in limited, like 500 copies, I think, were pressed of it. It was done by Moss Generator, and Tony presented it, and it was one of the ones that I hadn't heard that I picked and said, "Wow, that's a really cool one. Let's give that one a shot." And do you mind if I do it and just put my own slant? And Tony enjoyed the hell out of the way I did it. And yeah, it was done originally when it was written for Moss Generator. Tony and Scooter, having always been big Pentagram fans, they called the working title of it Pentamoss. Because it's got the line of, he wore a nightmare gown, which they were doing like as a tributed thing, to Pentagram and stuff. And so it was really kindred, and it worked out really good. I like the song a whole lot. We play it live, every night. Uh,
Yeah, and it translates so well. As I've listened to some of the bootlegs on YouTube and some of
cool.
these like solve the puzzle too. Like some of these translate so well live. Now I do want to touch on Dull Pain. This riff is excellent, and the guitar tone really complements it. Uh, might be one of my favorite riffs on the record, and it reminds me a little bit of "Take Me Away."
That's what it was written in looking at. Tony wrote the music. He was,
Specifically, that song.
yes, yeah. He didn't cite the title ever, but I knew it was obvious to me. The
Yeah, yeah.
and "Take Me Away" was written by Jeff O'Keefe, uh, the music and the lyrics of that, and he wanted to give it that kind of a flavor and be very pentagramish. It's a very pentagrammy sounding song for sure. You know, uh, he made sure, like, Tony's got a real knack with hooks. He really does. The hooks on the album, the chorus parts and stuff like that. And we just kept it kind of bare bones for the most part. But a little, maybe a line here or there of harmony, just to give little flavor, enhancements and stuff, little spices to them. And his lead breaks, solos, when he plays them, he doesn't extend them to any great degree. He just has a knack with putting a song together. He's a really good arranger, and I always fancy myself as doing that well too. So coordinating together was an easy deal. On let's do this 4 times instead of 2, the slight amendments that came afterwards. When Tony went to produce the album, he produced it actually alone in the sense that Henry and I went home when he was going to mix it, and we
No
were
input at all, just totally him.
just totally him. And he had Scooter come in like a week and a half later after everything was there except the bass and the lead break additions. And Scooter came in and put all the bass guitar in, took Tony's all out, and Scooter did all the bass stuff in like a day and a half from scratch. They're amazing, man. They blow my mind. They're bullshit, you know.
I've heard people say that this album sounds like it's been in the works for 10 years because of how good it is, how great it sounds, the master, the production. But to hear how casually some of this was recorded and it's just is really great. It's so cool
Yeah,
that how
a
it
lot of
was so
spontaneity.
traditionally made.
Yeah, a lot of spontaneity. There was
Yeah.
not this time, and thought that went deeply into all the things. They were like kind of off the cuffy, and it just happened to fit together because as artists separately, all of us as musicians, we just mesh and meld our stuff together. It's amazing to me. It blows my mind. And it's like, yeah, everything fits, man. What more can I? I can't ask for much more. We're planning on going in September and October and doing another record, another
Yeah, which
album.
is something I cannot wait to talk about. And I'm looking if it's anything like this, it's going to be another banger. Now, Lady Heroin you touched on a little bit and is on rotation as one of my favorites on the whole album.
Yep.
Surprised. I am shocked if there's one song I would say that you wrote, it'd be this one, but apparently that's not even true.
No. Nope. I didn't write any of Lady Heroin. I just performed it, and once again, Henry wrote the lyrics down and had a rough melody that he liked, and I kind of took on to that and did it my kind of way and asked if I could, change this or that. They wouldn't mind, and of course they didn't. And it came out wonderful. It's his perspective on the kind of addiction thing, I guess, or so to speak.
Yeah, and you sing it so personally
Yeah,
too.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I really feel it because when you've been in that place, it's a lot easier to express you know, from that viewpoint. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's great to see. I'll certainly see you in hell make a return from
yeah, that's
71.
yeah, that's the oldest song on the album. There's like 70, 71. Yeah, I wrote the music and the words to that, and wanted to have a little bit more melodic line. So it's got the refrain, still a little bit of harmony, vocals, but we wanted to keep it garage, and it very much is. It's a 2 minutes and 15 seconds or something like that, and it just kicks ass all the way through, and it's done the same basic way that we did it initially.
Were there any old songs that almost replaced it or that were in the running to be on this?
There were a couple that were liked, but no, not really. It happened to have been a song that when we were choosing old songs with the former members lineup, it was chosen by everybody in the band, like once again. And that's weird. When I went up to Seattle to do the vocals, it was like, I really want to do this one. I'll certainly see you in hell, so, because they had recorded the scratch of it, and it was perfect. It fit really well, and I liked the feeling of it, and came out really, really nicely.
Yeah,
It's the only that, and I spoke to death. The only songs that had surfaced whatsoever ever before. The rest of the entire thing is brand new. So,
yeah, and it fits so well into the track list. It really does, even with that garage sound. I'd love to see the song and maybe with a different working title, but the song "Rape." I think that I think that would if with a new coat of paint, I love the riff in that one, but this certainly. is a great addition. Now,
Well, as
Thundercrest.
far as the song rate goes, which
Uh-huh.
I deliberately wrote it to be an instrumental when I wrote it in about 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, it will soon surface new.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Well,
can
not
only
new. I
imagine
shouldn't say
where.
new. I don't want to mislead. It's the same recording of the original one that came out, but doctored up as far as proper mix and proper master.
That's really cool. Yeah, to like since now that we have all the fans, and I have a lot of friends who collect like garage 45s
Mhm.
and would love to like, hear that properly,
Yeah, well,
presented.
it's like Batman meets Link Ray, everything. Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's
Batman meets Dust, kind of.
yeah, for sure. Now, the first single, right? Thundercrest,
Mhm.
which has to be my favorite riff on the record. This riff just fucking hits
Yeah,
you like a truck.
it's
So
pretty.
heavy, man.
Yeah.
Like the palm muted, like, oh my, I first heard that and I'm like, am I stoned? It hit me so hard. It's so great. Such a great riff. What can you tell me about this track?
That one it hits me kind of like a petrified with the underdrive. Whenever we do it, I think of delivering the goods by Judas Priest. It's
Yeah, yeah,
kind of like that. It
yeah.
got that underdriven thing, running through it the double time. Um, Thundercrest was let's see, I wrote the words and kind of fit them in weird. But then when it came to that chorus part, man, that just rushes heavy. It's we do that live.
Steamrolls.
Yeah, we do that live, and that's kind of a hard one to do actually, because when we did it in the studio, you got to edit here and there because I got to catch my breath because I'm saying a lot of words and they're going behind each other and stuff, so they overlap. But live, it's kind of hard to keep.
And with the cough as well, and you're telling me some of where it's like I can't, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it gets a
2 days
little
worth of breathing in one song.
rough. Yeah, but hey, when we do this upcoming tour, we got to do. Right now, we're gonna have to scratch one of them. I don't know which one's gonna be, which is unfortunate, but we'll postpone it probably, whatever. But anyway, right now, as it's scheduled, we've got 15 dates in a row with no days off.
Seriously? It's
That's an
in a
awful.
row?
Even major big bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, there's a day off somewhere in that kind of a
A
row.
day to maybe travel, go to the next, but it's
Yeah,
no,
we have no
it's
days off. It's 15 out of 15 days, and that's
you're a
the.
true road dog, man. That's legit. That's not messing around.
We all are in the band. We love it.
Yeah, and it's the life you signed up for, and everyone
Yeah,
loves to see you, and everyone's coming out and solve the puzzle is a live track, which I think is it being played at every show,
almost everyone.
almost
Some
every
nights
show.
we leave it out occasionally, but not almost all every night. Yeah, we play it. I like solve the puzzle. It reminds me of kind of a ZZ Top thing. It's got the it's got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bus snap to it, which I always love that song. Solve the puzzle's cool. I had the words to solve the puzzle were applied to different music in the former lineup, and
Actually,
yeah, and then I took them out and kind of rewrote some of them. You know,
were there any specific songs those lyrics were supposed to be on from Curious Volumes?
no, not from Curious Volume. Mm-mm.
Oh, what was it?
It was something that Greg Turley and I had recorded. This is up on YouTube somewhere. Him and I
Got
did
it.
3 or 4 songs once. Kind of came out of a song called "Thrill of the Kill," but anyway.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, yeah. And Spread Your Wings, which is one of my favorites and is another live song you guys have been doing.
No, we don't.
Right?
We did it the first few gigs, and I said this one's kind of too much for me to pull off live, and I didn't like the way it came out. And the band, man, we when somebody expresses something in this lineup, every person attentively and thoroughly listens to the opinion given as far as pros and cons and reasons for why a member might or might not think it, should fit. I have a lot of respect for them for that. I just, I come to a point in the last inception where I didn't feel useful enough in input, or I hate to put it this way, I didn't feel regarded in a lot of senses as far as counting. I just kind of felt a little bit shunned, and that kind of bugged me. It was like, because hey, um, even though I'm just a singer and I don't play an instrument in the band, that is, I like having regard given to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Damn it, I'm a member. I'm part of the unit. I mean, when you go listen to a band, let's face it. Look, people do listen most to the singing right off the bat. They'll love the lick. They might enjoy the hell out of the riff. They say, wow, Libre's straight, but they hear the singing. It's what the mind perceives at first listening to be your format of your melody, your idea, and the presentation. Because I'm not playing something, so I have to present it a different kind of way. And then I have to be the front man, so to speak.
Yeah, you're a part of the machine,
Yeah.
and the audience, and you're helping them through the song. They're singing
Yeah,
along
I
with
love
you.
being right. Exactly. I like being, the guy with the conductor thing, the baton or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, you have your little stick.
Yeah, I got lead singer syndrome. What the hell? I admit it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have quite a legacy and background. So I think if anyone was Bobby Liebling, it'd be hard to not have that. Now, Lightning in a Bottle is captures this whole past year.
Yeah,
And
lightning
is
ball. It's heavy. I like that. Spread your wings. Uh, the quiet segments in them, I really enjoy doing.
the
Lady Girl.
dynamics are so
Yeah,
great.
yeah. There's a lot of dynamics on the record. Lightning in a Bottle has some of the most, and the changes and so forth. When it goes into the fast segment at the end, it reminds me of Target somewhat from the old Pentagram days, and it's got a really cool feeling, and it does kind of encapsulate the whole thing and sum it up. You know?
Yeah, for sure. What made you want this to be the title track?
um, Henry kind of originally and myself thought let's call it this because we had gotten a touch of magic, a spark that we didn't know would set off this wildfire of creativity in a natural feeling sense to us. So it was like, hey, we captured lightning in a bottle. And,
Yeah, and again, like it's funny how this foreshadowed this tour, the band's popularity. It's this tour is literally the lightning in a bottle tour in every sense you can discuss.
yeah.
Now this last song, Walk the Sociopath, when I put it on, my speakers fell through the floor because of how heavy they became.
Now there's where doom metal can be found if you want to call us a doom band because that motherfucker is slammed down heavy. It's the the dinosaur walking over the city, crushing the buildings as it walks along. It,
Yeah, and is like, and we were talking about dynamics on this record. This record has everything. It has a bit of the old Pentagram and then a bit of like kind of like modern Doom, but with your own flair on it, where it's not just a droning riff for 20
right.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It does have diversity within, and it does have continuity. It's got there's dynamics. It's okay. Yeah, it's a doom song, but it's got flavor added enhancement. I don't know how to put it, man. You know,
Were you ever when the riff was brought to you, were you ever hesitant? You're like, that's too, because I know how you feel about doom metal. Were you like, was that maybe too doom, or were you like, bring it on?
because we've always done some sludge songs, some sludgy, slow songs. Like
Sub basement.
the Ghoul is somewhat like that. They're slow, uh, but they're heavy. hell. And that's important is to keep it really, really heavy. That's our main objective. And to conclude the album on the regular edition of the album with Walk the Sociopath. I wrote the words, of course, it's a play on words. And, because you have no feeling and it's just a detachment. Walk the Sociopath's a heavy son of a bitch, man. It really is intense to what it says.
Tons. Yeah, weighs tons. Now, this record, you've played some of the songs live. You've sat with the songs for a little bit. Do you have a favorite track?
Oh, God. Uh, I really can't pick one.
It's like picking your favorite child, you know?
No, I really vacillate between one to another to another. And some days it's some days in Panic Room, another day Thunder Crash. Then I say, well, we don't play Lightning in the Bottle. Let me give that a listen again. And then it's like, wow, that one's good. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
constantly. We even love Might Just Want to Be Your Fool, which is on the extra tracks that are
Which
added.
is fantastic. The bonus track's fantastic. Yeah.
That one and Start the End is another one that's got that. It's a great song, man. I'm really happy with the fucking writing on
The
it.
bonus track is incredible. Like it could have been on the full the record itself, and I wouldn't have batted an eye. Also,
Yeah,
the rough mix of Lady Heroine's cool. That's a very welcomed addition because it reminds me of the early like demos,
it's
you
haunt
know?
has a certain haunt to it. Yeah, with the emptiness and the little added things left out.
Right.
Uh, I'm happy from A to Z with this one, man. I'm proud of this fucking thing. If this was the last one I ever did or do, even I can go rest easy.
I
It's like
don't think Heavy Psych Sounds is letting you guys go after this one.
uh, hey, we're in a capitalist environment, and
Yep,
we'll have to
yep.
see what happens. Let me just put it that way. I mean,
Do, do you see now we get to talk about the remasters, and I just want to touch on this real briefly. I got to listen to them since we talked, and they're so good. Like Sub Basement's one of my favorite metal albums ever, and the justice done on it was
yeah,
so amazing.
when you really brought out the tones and the separation is much better and so forth. Yeah.
Do you see any other Pentagram records getting this treatment, or is it just new material right now? Let's not even think about that.
Right now, we're not thinking about that in that sense. I mean, there's some other um, already have been released uh, products and stuff that we're kind of spiffing up a little bit to put them out in limited edition, uh, as far as on merch table only, on tours and stuff. But we're mostly concentrating on let's take it just for today and hope that we have a formidable future and can keep this thing sparked. And we're a small family traveling. We don't have a big entourage or any of that kind of stuff. No fancy schmancy stuff. We don't we're a self-contained unit. All our merch, we do ourselves completely, and it's a happy situation, man. It's a comfort zone that I've never experienced in the band ever before. Even though I've adored and loved all the members through the years and gotten very close with them. I always, like on stage with the guitar players I've had, I always try to interact with them. And Tony gets me off like a son of a bitch, man. He is into it when we play. He's one hell of a performer, and I can kick back if I want to lay it off and stop, barnstorming, and, trying to upstage myself even or whatever. He takes over like happy, it gives the fans something to look at and so forth.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys have, you're saying, let's keep the spark alive. I feel like you guys are a bonfire right now. Like it's you guys are shining so bright. And what's really great to hear, man, like just talking to you is I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, but people have talked to him. They're like, "Hey, have you thought, because he wanted to do a solo career, but he's like, and everyone's like, Megadeth is your solo career. Where with you, you're kind of the revolving, nucleus of this band,
Mhm.
and you're giving members input. It's not like this is how it's going to be. I'm going to do everything in this band. What I tell it seems that you're letting ideas come in, you're letting other people bring, so it feels like one big band. It feels like a band instead of just the Bobby Liebling solo project. And
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I really love about this record.
that it very, very much is. Everybody's got their own, their own heavy input into it, and open to each other's suggestions and feelings about everything we do. Man, we discuss things in depth when we do, and of course, we live on opposite ends of the earth from each other. Tony and Scooter live in Seattle. I live outside of Philly, and Henry's down there in Texas. So we don't rehearse like a regular band would. When we're going to go out on the road, we get together like 2 days before we leave and rehearse once or twice, and that's it. And it's been lightning, man. It's just when you're working with professional people like I've been blessed to work with, who've been doing it this long, man. It just has, that finger ease and falling into place. It's just, it's
Yeah.
easy. It's,
And the ball's still rolling. You're talking about working on a next record. So when did talks start happening of like the next Pentagram release? This is the next one would be the 11th. Are we on the 10th?
uh, we're actually on more, but yeah,
We're on. I'm so bad with,
consider the
yeah.
10th. I mean, I don't know why they don't put First Days Here, First Days 2 as a release. Honestly, God knows why. They
Oh
cost
yeah,
way
yeah.
more
There's
than me.
that to track,
There's
but
others. There are several other products, but uh, it would be the 11th. They'll call it coming up. The next one.
yes. Yeah. So when did talks start of like, hey, we're on a roll right now?
Um, well, Tony is already woodshedding with himself on writing. He doesn't need anybody else. Come on. Uh, but uh, the real get-togethers haven't started at all because we're just too busy right now. We're just really rolling and trying to keep that ball rolling, man. I mean, of course, we'll have time in intervals, here and there. I got the month of April off, for instance, which is the only time really off between May and the end of August.
Did you get
Um,
home and sleep for 24 hours?
no, I get home and become a nervous wreck from not being on the road anymore and want to collapse, but sit here and now what do I do? You know how it's that's really weird with bands, but it's like you can't wait and can't wait to get out of here and get back on the road. And then you get on the road, and a few days in, it's like, can't wait till this is over with.
Yeah, yeah. Addicted to the
I don't
poison
know
that
why.
kills you.
Yeah, it's this revolving thing that never stops with you. You stay in turmoil of I either gotta be out there or I want to be in here. I want to be out there. I want to be in here. It's just my personality syndrome.
So as of April 2025, Tony's working on a few riffs, but that's it. It's
Uh,
focusing on the tour and getting lightning out there.
right now, yes, and
Yeah.
also we also had 8 more tracks that were recorded for Lightning in a Bottle that we didn't use. So yeah,
Eight extra tracks.
well, yeah, there's 8 more songs to pick from. They'll come up when we get ready for the next album. Of which one of these, some of these, do you want to use? And I'll go back and I'll have some more words, and maybe Henry will.
That's insane. That's like a whole extra record.
I know. So we're not hurting for any of our membership structure on the writing, and I think we'll have ample amount of songs to pick from. For God's sake.
Right. Yeah. So it's really just taking those riffs, sharpening them up, taking the stuff that works, punching up everything. So that's awesome to hear, man. And as a fan of Pentagram, I think the first time we talked was maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And to see this, like where the band has like the heights, your quest for fame is here. If this isn't it, like, I don't know what is. And it's awesome to see. I cannot wait to see you in Cambridge, I believe. And that's next month.
Hmm.
Which I'm so excited about. Uh I'm gonna end things here, but before I end this, if there's anything I missed that you want to promote, the future of Pentagram, what can fans look forward to?
Fans can look forward to us enjoying them. That's what gets us off is when the fans are really rampantly into it and get rabid out there with us because we all feed off of that, man. Without all of you guys out there, like I say always, we don't exist. And I can't believe how much existence we're getting privileged to have right now. God damn. Thank you all for everything, for, just letting us continue to rise. And hopefully there'll be a lot more time put in, with our health willing, God willing, and stuff. I hope we keep on rolling, man. This is on a roll right now. Got to get it while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah, and the iron's on fire, man. Now, everyone knows you from the TikTok, Instagram Reels, but what's the best way for people to stay updated with everything you and Pentagram?
Okay, all right. On Instagram, it currently, the actual official Instagram page is at lowercase pentagram underslash the underslash band. Okay, that's the real official one. There's two or three of them I know on Instagram. It confuses the hell out of things. We don't care for that, but it came like that, and we'll take it. I mean, people know which all of them are. Uh,
Yeah,
Now, the Pentagram USA thing is actually supposed to be defunct and have turned to Pentagram underslash the underslash band. That's Instagram. On Facebook, it was Pentagram official. It is now Pentagram capital letters band. Just
got it.
Pentagram band. That's our real page on Facebook. So I hope that everybody out there will take note of that if you dig it and check us out on those pages. Give us your likes, your following, hopefully. And, if not, you can call us boo hiss, like you say. Once you don't like it, go boo hiss. But give us a chance. Okay.
Well, it seems like a hell of a lot of people are liking it. And,
Um,
Bobby, absolutely honored for you to be back on Disturbing the Priests. It's always an absolute pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much for taking the time out. For really.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care, okay?
Yeah, you too. I'm Brandon, and this has been Disturbing the Priest.
It's death! I've just seen death!